Transporte gemacht, auch vom Kampfgeschwader 26.
The 26th Fighter Squadron had been ordered to fly from Kiel to Norway in order to resupply the 30 Fighter Squadron of the Bambach Command. On the return flight to Hamburg, I took a model of my aircraft design with me, and taking advantage of the opportunity, actually had it forwarded to Ernst Udet in the Reichs Air Ministry in Berlin. Over and over again, I later heard reports from people who were working in Prague on the construction of flying discs, and progress in this field was actually being made. This flying disc, as I discovered, was flown to Spitzbergen in Norway and should have returned to Rechlin on a directional beam with an unknown transmission frequency and code word. However, due to a bad landing in Spitzbergen, it was damaged and was unable to complete the return flight home. After that, I drove into the hills just outside Prague, where the secret testing ground was supposed to have been located. I had my Leica A camera with me when suddenly I saw such a flying saucer. I was wounded at the time, so I know that it was November, December, although the test flight was not due to take place until the following February. Someone had made an unscheduled test flight, and this is what I saw coming towards me. It had no wings, absolutely none. I took a photo and wound on the film, but it was already directly over me. Then I took a second photo, and I could see that it was a flying gyroscope, a flying saucer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Alien Addict on this fine, luxurious day. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you all had a good week. Oh my God, did the intro skip a little bit? Was it just me? It went a bit skippy. Anyway. So yeah, I hope you all had a good week. It's been quite busy for me, and I'm really sorry I haven't put any videos out at all on updates on ufology. It's just been, one of those weeks where it's just been absolutely manic. Got to earn that money, baby. Got to earn the money. But yeah, it's one of those things, but I'm all clear now. So next week, we're back on track. So for tonight, I've got a mega show. We're talking about German flying saucers. So if you've been familiar with the work I've been doing, there's a number of subjects I talk about. Well, something I've been researching for a long period of time. Two of them I can't talk about because it's the algorithm. One is to do with the trails in the sky. The other one was 9/11. And this one is the big deal for me. It's the German flying saucers. And so what I've got in store, we're going to be talking about Joseph Andreas Epp and his story of being involved with the flying discs, not flying saucers, flying discs of World War II. I'm going to get back into that. So yeah, it's like a mixed bag. You know, with me on Alien Addict is a bit of a mixed bag. So I'm going to be talking about a bit of occult theosophy of the Nazi Party. And some other things like paranormal and UFO stuff as well. So let's get back on track to a bit of road call. Who we got in here? Science Fringe, welcome on in. Mark G. Oh my God. I looked in the mirror, my eyes were red. I'm like, you ain't fooling anybody, Nick. John Strokes, how's it going? Rotary Motion, how's it going, man? Mark Jeffrey. Who else we got here? Our Ancient Ireland Expeditions. Welcome on in. That's a new one. I don't think I've seen you here before. And I think that's it so far. So yeah. Welcome all the newcomers. Welcome on in. It's good to see you all. So today, yes, as I mentioned before, it's all about German flying saucers. But there's one thing I have noticed this past week. It's been a bit of a blessing. Check this out. Clear blue sky. It finally feels like spring. I've been out in the garden, sorting all my veg bed out, you know, get a little manure in. It's been actually really, really nice. And yeah, you're probably thinking, Nick, yeah, you're filming trails again. No, it's actually been no trails whatsoever. It's proper spring and it's amazing. Oh, it's been absolutely glorious. So when you see skies like this, go out, get your vitamin D. I sound like an old man, don't I? So what we got on for today? Oh, I'll tell you what. I popped on to a lovely lady show, and her name is Amy. Where are you two? Once again, I've got like 1,000 tabs open. DW, how's it going, man? Nice to see you. Oh, where is it to? Where are you two, Amy? Oh, there it is. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Derp. So, not long ago, I think a couple of days ago, I was on Amy's show talking about UFO Twitter and is it dead? Is the community is it fractured, so to speak? And a really good conversation with Amy about this. And I think it is to a certain degree. I'll definitely go recommend listening to it because you get sort of different opinions on. I mean, me and Amy comes from the different avenues, you see. So what I noticed the past 3 years being on Twitter, I haven't been on Twitter that long, is that the UFO information been coming out has all been pushing people in different directions. For instance, Lua Elizondo, as me and Amy were talking about, clearly a disinformation agent who has been put into the community to really really put it into different categories. I mean, really split people apart. But again, it's down to, I mean, we're all sort of opinionated. We're not opinionated. I would say we're all split up in categories, isn't it? The far left, the far right. And I think this is done on purpose to really, again, it's just like with society as well. It's not just for social media. It's like there's so many different things you can really pinpoint. I think a downfall was pretty much COVID when that happened. But yeah, it was a really good, interesting conversation with Amy about UFO community with Twitter and amongst other things. Because who was that girl? Is it Kelly? I forgot her bloody name now. She does the UFO rabbit hole on Twitter. And we just sort of loosely talked about it. And it's quite amazing how many people who's been in the UFO community for a very short period of time started to notice the disinformation agents, so to speak, and where the conversation is going about ufology, especially disclosure, which is pretty much nowhere at the moment, isn't it, really? John Scott, welcome on in, man. Jeremy Corbell. Corbell's cat. See, I should never 4:20, half an hour before the show. I thought, oh, relax me. Like, no. Welcome on in, guys. Welcome on in. So yeah, go check that out. That is called Is UFO Twitter Dead? UFO Community is Fractured. And I would absolutely 100% agree with that. So let's go on to, let's give a shout out to the boys, the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. I couldn't talk about conspiracies every single day. Man, it's like we're living in the world of conspiracy theories at the moment. It's never ending. It's like everything's going absolutely crazy. But if you want your latest news on conspiracies, go check out the Daily Conspiracy Podcast, where you can find Ollie, Lee, and Dave there 5 days a week. They have a Patreon now. You can spend, I think it's like $5.99 a month, and all the proceeds go to Alien Addicts because they are definitely well worth a watch and a listen as well. And you can actually listen to it on video form as well. So you can see what Alien Addict used to be like, but on a Daily Conspiracy Podcast. And it's a lot of fun as well. A lot of fun. A lot of piss taken out of Ollie and his small hands. So yeah, let's get on with the show because they mentioned something. They mentioned my name on one of their shows. Let's bring up Spotify. Okay. So this one here is called Mushrooms, Demons, and the Sex Bots. Oh my, the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. Okay, so just listen to this because Lee mentions my name. Okay, yeah, they call me Nazi Nick. You go find out in a minute. But nothing like occult stuff. It's to do with German flying saucers, but it's all a joke. It's all a joke. So they mentioned about the occult theosophy to do with the Nazi party. So I'm going to click play. I'm going to have a little listen to what Liasa says. Is it working? I can't hear anything. Hold on. There we go. Why have I got to turn it up on my phone? That's gay. Okay, here we go. It's strong, mate. It's strong. Oh, hold on. Guys, can you hear anything? No sound. All right, okay. 2 seconds. I bloody knew that would happen. All right, no worries. Backup plan. Right, can you hear this? Oh, right. Okay. Oh, gay. Right, 2 seconds. If not, we'll have to move on with the main show. Yeah, I'll have to admit StreamYard's been pretty shit today. Right, okay, when we do that, go into that. Can you hear this? Can you hear that, guys? Oh. Guys, can you hear that or not? John Stroke says you can't hear it. It's all audio, guys, okay? It's no video, it's just all audio. No. Oh, man, I don't know what's going on. Still no. All right, okay. So basically what Lee was saying, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, StreamYard seems to be pretty crap at the moment. Don't know what's going on with it. But what Lee was talking about Himmler's castle, and that the occult philosophy behind the Nazi party was pretty much poo-pooed or dismissed, one would say, by the mainstream historians who say, no, the occult philosophy was nothing to do with that, nothing to do with the Nazi party. But it's like, hold on a minute, when you look at, for instance, there's different avenues you could go down. I mean, for instance, the first one that comes to mind is the Tula Society. And this is people, I can't even play the clip. That's going to be really annoying. All right. So yeah, the Tula Society I've mentioned before, it's a organization that was set up by occult philosophers. For instance, Karl Haushofer. He was a German geopolitician, military officer, and he pretty much had a lot of influence into the Nazi ideology, so to speak. And Dietrich Eckart is another one, German poet, playwright, journalist, and he sort of brought up Hitler to be this charismatic new leader. And Dietrich Eckart played a massive part into the occult philosophy of the Nazi party. He pretty much, the whole bringing back the Aryan race. This is what I've got to talk about what the Tula Society is. People say it's the Thor Society, but the real pronunciation is Tula, so it's Thule. And what this is actually talking about is to bring back the old philosophy of the German race, the superior race, so to speak. And we're talking about the Aryan race here. So you had Karl Haushofer, Dietrich Eckart, Rudolf von Zobotdorf. All these people sort of came in and sort of shared ideas. And I believe Hitler was part of that as well. And eventually that was from 1918, and it disbanded. And there's some conclusion whether or not the Vril Society was mixed into that as well. And that sort of expanded until 1925. So to say there is no occult philosophy behind the Nazi Party, that is absolute complete hogwash. I mean, this is like mainstream historians here. You know, it's a bit like, look at like Graham Hancock and his way, how the, well, he's been talking about the archaeologists that they won't have any open minds about other ideas in terms of how these pyramids got here. It's tend to stick down like an echo chamber. Do you know what I mean? It's so I tend to find these mainstream scientists, engineers, or especially scientists, but like climate engineers, like, oh yeah, please, you know, even like something like Bloody Weatherman and stuff like that. But I won't believe anything mainstream would say, especially when it comes to like BBC and stuff like that. History Channel, I think they've talked about it occasionally. One True Saxon, welcome on in, mate. Welcome on in. So yeah, just to say that the occult philosophy didn't happen before the Second World War is absolutely nonsense. Oh my God, I can't pronounce her name. Helena Blavatsky and her book ISIS Unveiled in 1877 and The Secret Doctrine in 1888. And the Nazis really took a lot of inspiration from those two books and applied that into their theosophy of... I know it's a really tricky one. I mean, I'm trying to find a book from Dietrich Eckart, who wrote a book back in, it's like 1920, and it's extremely rare, hard to find. And if I did find it, it'd be extremely expensive. But I always find that sort of occult philosophy. Yeah, okay, we're dealing with the Nazis here, but again, this is like the scary thing and strange thing about the Nazis is that they took this occult philosophy and they actually did it. They actually applied it into their practices, regardless of what any historians would say. That's what they did. That's from my opinion. And a typical example of that, have you heard of the Anu-Neb? Okay, so the Anu-Neb was set up in 1935 by Heinrich Himmler. He was a madman in terms of the occultist. And this is what Lee was talking about in that excerpt that I can't play, is that in Himmler's castle, is it Venusberg or something like that? Where his place is a three-sided castle. And they have stuff in there that is pretty much occult philosophy. Let's bring up some typical example of what is in Himmler's castle. Okay, so this is called the Black Sun, and Lee did mention about this. Okay, no one really knows what this symbol represents. Okay, but what I'm going to explain something here. Okay, so you have it's almost like a sun wheel, so to speak, and what you have the sig runes. Ever heard of sig runes before? I'm going to show you here what a sig rune is, which means we have to get out of that. So sig rune is this. Okay. And this is a sign for victory. Obviously, this is an ancient symbol, but the Germans really took this and applied it into their symbolisms. But this is what it means. It means victory. Okay. So if we go back, sorry, guys, go back into Himmler's castle. This is in pretty much in one of his ceremonies. I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, so this what you have here. Got these pillars going around in a circle. That better picture? No, okay. And you have the sun wheel, sundial disc, so to speak, with 12 zig runes going all the way around. I did a video on my YouTube channel about what this could represent. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave it for another episode. I'm going to leave it for another live stream. And I really find out what this is, because historians, I mean, we're talking about historians here, don't know what this is. And obviously we're talking about, it is conspiracies when you look at it, but it's more proven conspiracies because I'm actually seeing the bloody thing. Like most conspiracies, you know, yeah, it's all about like speculation, so to speak. But this is actually implanted in the center of this ritual center. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm going to get back to what the black sun symbol represents, but there is a sign for victory that's going all the way around here. So yeah, that is the black hole. Yeah, I'm not too sure, man, about that, because Himmler was obviously part of the SS. And I know from... Yeah, I can remember there was a forced wall they found. And they took out this wall, and then they found out all these artifacts. And I'm going to talk about the artifacts in a minute. But about this symbol, mate, absolutely no idea. Didn't only 13 people get charged and convicted in that trials, Nuremberg? Yeah, it was only a very small amount of people. The rest of them, Mark, went into Argentina, Spain. I know the British had some, and obviously America as well. But I think the Nuremberg trials, mate, was probably just, in my opinion, was just to say, okay, let's just get this out of the way. And it's almost doing that, but you're actually doing that behind here. You know, you sort of, this is what the Americans did. In fact, everyone did that. The English did that as well. You know, took Nazi scientists, engineers, and people in the intelligence agency and brought them over into the Allied powers. Absolutely crazy, isn't it? Rogue Trooper, how's it going, man? How's it going? I love this Graham. Sorry, I love this German. I was going to say Graham Hancock then. I love this German UFO stuff. Much better than the new stuff. New UFO stuff is very interesting. They were into everything. That's a lot. Yeah, it's. You're going to see One True Saxon. I will bring out loads of information. I mean, all my German flying saucer research is to do with basically all books and stuff I collected for the past, well, over 10 years, which spans over 80 years. So I've kind of avoided the internet because the internet says one thing. However, if you do the research going back to the original source, it says another thing. So I've really put the foundations of where this German UFOs and flying saucers come from. So I'm going to allude to a little bit today, but it really needs like a full episode into this. That was the one, Graham Hancock. S. Hammer, how's it going, man? Graham Hancock is quality to listen to and watch. If only we knew something who actually knows him and could possibly get him on the show with Alien Addict or Daily Conspiracy Podcast. I have absolutely no idea who you're talking about. I don't know. Is that guy on the left there? That woman on the left? Yeah, I've spoken to Santha. I shouldn't really say name, but everyone knows her. Santha is Graham's wife. Scheduled to pop in at some point, but I am planning to get Graham Hancock on. He can be quite particular, mate. Got to pick him on his right day, so to speak. But a lovely guy. But yeah, that is the biggie, mate, because we need those views. Because me talking about conspiracies don't help. Bloody algorithm assholes. But yeah, I will definitely get Graham Hancock on the show. John P. Adventures. I don't think I said hello, man. Appreciate you coming on in. Hope you're doing well. Just check in chat one last time. I think that's everyone. So yeah, the Anno Neb is an expedition. Hold on, where am I to? Yeah, it was an expedition that was set up in 1935 by Heinrich Himmler. They went to Tibet, China, and I can't remember somewhere else as well. And what they were trying to do is find their old philosophy or ancient past, and obviously philosophy, because you think that a lot of German, especially like the swastika, that's like an ancient symbol that can be traced back through thousands of years. You know, it's nothing new. It's just they have adopted it and just changed it. I mean, technically, it's a Hindu symbol, but you can trace it back through Sumeria, through all over the place. It's the same with the German eagle. That can be traced back to Sumeria. So you'll find that a lot of occult philosophy and the Aryan race was based in Tibet and India, and obviously the Hindu religion as well. It's crazy when you really look into it. You think, why did they take this strange philosophy and sort of adapted it into their new occult practices? It's absolutely crazy. But they did these expeditions that went up to Tibet, and you can see videos of them, the expeditionists, measuring the skulls of the faces of the Tibetan people, and obviously the artifacts as well. And it's bloody annoying. I'm going to try one more time to get this up because I want to talk about a little bit about Spirit Destiny. I'm going to try one more time. This is so bloody annoying at Spotify. It worked last time. It worked last time. Why is it not working now? Maybe. Oh, it's playing through there. That's why. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to try something. This should work. It's weird, it's because I can control Spotify through my phone, but not this time. Right. Because this is really interesting stuff. So it was all about the spear of destiny, which was the spear that pierced the side of Christ. And there was rumors that whether or not Himmler have actually like stole or snagged the spear of destiny for himself. And there's rumors that he got like a swordsman to like copy the sword, and he kept it for himself. But apparently whoever possessed the sword had power for like 1,000 years. I really got to play this podcast. It's really interesting. All right, it's going to click play. Okay, let's do that. Right. Okay, guys. Okay. I'm sorry for the radio silence, guys. I really want to see if this works. Trial and error. Trial and error. Right. Can you hear this? It's not fucking working. What is going on, man? What is going on? Okay. Spotify. Right. Okay. Oh, how annoying. Okay. Right. Can you... Sorry, guys. One last time. Is this going to work? Can you hear this?
The 1920s or late 20s or early 30s, he made a replica of it. In the early 30s, as the Nazis are sweeping across Europe, he's looting Europe, looking for objects owned by previous possessors.
Oh, yes, we got there. Okay, fantastic. Oh, thank God for that. Right. Yes. All right. That trial and error, guys. Trial and error. She pop up. Thanks for being on here. I do appreciate it. Thank fuck for that. Okay, right. Let's get back to brass tacks then. Let's bring up my notes. Because the Spear of Destiny is interesting because Himmler did go out and really pick up a lot of relics, a lot of artwork, and I do believe there is one reference of Thor's hammer in a document somewhere. I mean, I think Hitler sort of took the piss out of Himmler, I believe, in some sort of stories. And everyone looked at Himmler as a complete madman to the occult. I mean, he bought the three-sided castle, and I know he did a lot of... I mean, for instance, when an SS officer died, they would go through this occult ceremony. It's absolutely crazy. It really, really is. But I think we could do that for another episode. But let's talk about Spear of Destiny. And we're talking about 2528. Okay. 25, 28. Can I do that? Okay. Okay, so this podcast is no longer running. It's called Eerie X, and this is episode 97, Nazi Flying Saucers. And there's an author called Jerry E. Smith. And not a lot of people find out about Jerry E. Smith. He talks about, I think, about Operation Paperclip and stuff like that. But check out this about the Spear of Destiny.
He was the guy in charge. He was the one playing all the pieces off of each other, and he's the one who most definitely got away. In fact, in the book, I don't know if you noticed, I have the Hitler's home address in Argentina when they left the bunker and moved to Bariloche.
Oh boy!
Yeah, I thought that was I thought that was absolutely awesome. I'm still breaking my arm, patting myself on the back for having to get this home address. Himmler, early on, became fascinated with the Spear of Destiny. Something like 1917 or so, he first had contact with it. In the 1920s, or late 20s or early 30s, he made a replica of it. In the early 30s, as the Nazis are sweeping across Europe, he's looting Europe, looking for objects owned by previous possessors of the spear.
Mm-hmm.
He finds a three-sided castle, the only three-sided castle in Europe, and converts it to a spear museum, a living, breathing, dank museum in which every room in it is appointed with things owned by previous possessors and operators of the spear. So much so that he has a slave labor camp built outside the castle to continuously do the renovations for him. And in the basement of it, he creates a secret chamber, probably a mytharium, to conduct black magic rituals using his replica of the spear. And then comes the Anschluss, 1938. And after the Anschluss, now the Vienna artifact is what most people know of as the Spear of Destiny. As I said, there are half a dozen others around the planet. The object in Vienna had been in Vienna since the early 1800s. Before that, it had been on display in Nuremberg from the 1600s to the 1800s, and then had been hidden as Napoleon is marching on Nuremberg. The people in Nuremberg know that with it he's going to rule the world. They put it into hiding.
Right.
They give it to a certain baron, a certain nobleman who turned out not to be so noble, who after the fall of the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, he realized that it didn't have a legal owner, and he sold it to the Habsburgs, who ran the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Yeah.
And they've had it on display from about 1810, 1812, up to 1938, when Hitler ordered it and the entire Reich treasure sent back and put back on display in Nuremberg. Now, the story goes, and this is the wildest piece of this whole wild story, is that instead of it going to Nuremberg, Himmler snagged it, brought the greatest swordsmaker, kind of like from Kill Bill, from Japan to Germany, and had him make an exact replica of it. And the replica went on display in Nuremberg, and the real one stayed in his crazy castle in Wiebelsberg to do black magic with. And the story then goes on even weirder. Let me step out for a moment. You may have heard of the Dachau massacre.
Okay, right. So that is an excerpt from the Eerie podcast, Eerie X podcast. As like I said, excuse me, they're no longer running. But I was researching German flying saucers. Yeah, I do internet research with German flying saucers, but the bulk of my research is, I use the internet to sort of fact check things, because I know my original sources, from the books I read. And yeah, I do read them, by the way. Even though I can't read to a certain degree, but yeah, go check that out. That's that podcast there. I'll tell you what, let's just play Daily Conspiracy Podcast for what Lee and Dave have to say.
100%.
Let's go back.
Fuck, one meets all for everyone, which I don't think there is. But there's something. So obviously, the data and eyewitness accounts, there are lights in the sky. That's why I love to say lights in the sky, because people are like, it's a craft. Fuck. I haven't seen that one, which I don't think the thought path for everybody. But there is something more. And if there is something more, then there's, a purpose, a why. And you start running that down. Not that there's a one. I haven't seen that. Now, we've heard people say more in that direction for physical things. Then the official was
it says 47 minutes. I'm at 47 minutes and it's not the part. Okay, whatever. Just because I'm going to be all day. Bloody Spotify. How annoying is that? Yeah, let's just move on to some German flying saucers. So yes, I would agree. One true Saxon. The bell definitely was built. However, what the History Channel says, and the people that this is not me bashing, is the people that don't really like do the proper research into this. Is the fact is there's a book here. No, that's not it. It's Igor Wachowski. If you want to know anything about the Bell Project, go check out Igor Wachowski's book called the. Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's go find it. Igor Wachowski. I think that's it. And he written a book called because it's really, really important. And I would definitely recommend anyone who wants to know really good details about the Bell Project, go check out this book. Is it coming up? Oh, is there? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, this is called The Truth About the Wunderwaffe, which means the wonder weapon, because obviously back in World War II, we were talking about miracle weapon systems that the Germans were developing, because they were way ahead of their time in terms of rocketry, aviation, weaponry, the whole shebang. I mean, I'm not glorifying the Nazis here, but it was just technically brilliant and everything. No wonder why the Germans went to well, especially when the Americans took all the German scientists like, Werner von Braun, who built the rocket that allegedly took the Americans to the moon, which it didn't, by the way. But yeah, if we go check out this about the Bell Project. Now, what needs to be clarified, that the Bell Project was also a very top secret program that happened in near the latest stages of the Second World War. And what this was a craft. Well, it's not really a craft. It was I'll tell you what. The Bell. Well, they call it Die Glocke. Die Glocke. There we go. Which means the bell. So, yeah, you would find this primarily anywhere you go when you look at Die Glocke. So this, if I remember rightly, on top of my head, this was a bell-shaped craft. It was 12 feet in diameter and 16 feet height-wise, I believe. And inside you had two barrels that had a red mercury liquid inside. I think it's called Serum 25. It's been a while since I've researched the Bell Project. And what it was is that they'll counter-rotate the fluid in the barrels, but the Bell device was connected to a power plant, and they were shooting millions of voltage through the device, and it would do something to the liquid. And apparently what happened is that this device levitated. It didn't fly around in the sky according to the History Channel, nothing like that, but it gave off like a massive amount of radiation. And there are some documents in that book I just showed you there, and it is showing the fact that plants deteriorated, metal started deteriorated. 9/11. It's like so many different things. I also gave like a massive amount of radiation, and this was tested indoors first, and they had to change the bricks because it was surrounded in the ceramic bricks, and they had to change it every time they tested the device. And eventually it was brought outside, and there are some documents to suggest this is like this blue glow coming from one of the test sites. But this device had to be linked up to a power plant. So the fact that it's flying around in the sky is absolute, it's just untrue, really. But go check out Igor Wachowski's book, The Secret of the Wunderwaffe, which means the wonder weapon. So I would agree with you on that one. Who said that? I've lost you now. One true Saxon, yes. Definitely go check that out. Madame Blavatsky was a massive influence on the Nazi Party. Well worth looking into. Yeah, I know she's a bit like controversial and all that. In fact, I mean, this doesn't bother me. He's not going to take it serious or anything like that. But I'm just interested in the whole aspect of where the Nazis came from. People say, "Oh, you take it." It's just interesting. I'm fascinated with the First World, Second World War on both sides. English and German. I just find that whole time period fascinating personally. But again, it's going back to the occult philosophy. Yes, it was taken from Madame Blavatsky. Mysterion, I know you got the book, and I went to Glastonbury, and they got this amazing old bookshop. It was literally filled to the rim of old occult philosophy books. I mean, like thousands of books there, and they had the whole selection of I think it was The Secret Doctrine. I think there's different volumes of it, and I'm not joking, it was like £300 for the whole collection. But this was all original 18, I think it came out in 1888, I believe. That might have been Isis Unveiled. But it's crazy. But yeah, I'll look into it, mate, because I tend to stay away from internet research when I want to be like, if I know I can find a book, I would look into the book first. I want to go back to the original source. That's me. That's how I research, really. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out, bro. Yeah, definitely go check it out. Yeah, we've got the Secret Doctrine collection. Need reference at all? Yeah, it's mate. I can imagine it would be a massive undertaking, bruv. So that I need to like really sit down again, really plan this one properly. 6 books hardback. Yes, you're right. It was more than 4 books. I remember that, and I think it was in leather. No, I think that was like the Satanic Bible or something like that. Oh, mate, honestly, I'm planning to go to Glastonbury with the missus at some point, and I'm going to go there and show you this bookshop. The guy that owns it thinks that they're aliens. They're like an alien base underneath the shop. It's good laugh, good fun. So yeah, the Bell Project. That's one show I need to do with Hidden about that, because I did. How many shows did we do on it? It must have been an 8-hour show. So One True Saxon, if you go to, I'm going to show you now. Go to YouTube. And if you go to Hidden Underbelly, and this is my my good friend Hidden. And if you go to live, is that coming through okay? Yes, it's coming through. Fantastic. And if you go all the way down to World War II German UFO technology that they may have had, guys, 3 hours and 20 minutes. And we did a second one, World War II German UFO technology part 2, and that was like nearly 3 hours. So it's, over a 7-hour live stream we did, and we haven't even covered the Bell Project. Okay, so if you want to go check those 2 out, I go into almost like a deep dive into German flying saucers. Talking about German flying saucers, should we just get into it? Because I ramble, man. I ramble too much. Okay, let's do this. Bring my notes up. Everything's in my head, but I need notes because I 420 a bit too hard. Rotary, the stuff's too strong, mate. It makes me a bit cuckoo or red-eyed, mate. Right, let's go for my notes. That's done. That's done. Okay. Bring up photographs. They're in dark blue cover. Ah, right. Okay, that rings a bell. With the philosophical... Still on. You've got big words going on. Theosophical Society logo stamped on in gold. Oh, okay. All right. So I think me and Mrs. want to go there like one weekend. I'll go check that out, mate. I'll bear that in mind. I do appreciate that. Much appreciated. And if I can afford the book, I'll buy it. Just finish paying off my bloody PC, which is officially mine. You're mine now. That's it. Right. Okay. German flying saucers. Did the Germans build flying saucers? Well, maybe. Maybe not. But I'll tell you something they could have done. That sounds a bit of a possibility. So if you want to know about German flying saucers, this is what you probably find on the internet. This is called the Haunebu. And they had 5 models of these from the span of 1939 to 1945, near the end of the war. These are anti-gravity flying saucers. As you can see, you got the upside-down Panther turret, and you got some guns on the ends there. Here's another one called the Vril flying saucer. If you go to the side here, actually, there we are. I've actually got the proper photograph, and it's that. So as you can see here, you have the Vril flying saucer on top of a tripod. got the car at the back, and you have a man touching the tip of this flying saucer. Whether or not you think it's real is entirely up to you. But it's immensely fascinating. One thing I've been trying to do is find out the original source of where these photographs come from. Here is one of actually the rarest book you can find on German flying saucers. Oh, my camera's way off. So this literally took me about over 10 years to get. Not this one. Yeah, well, it's one or two books, but there's something called the Vril Project, and this was the first ever mention of anti-gravity flying saucers. Two Austrians that wrote this book, and the other one as well, had these photographs that was from the Tempelhof Gesellschaft, which was an organization that was in Vienna. And they managed to get all the photographs of the flying saucers. And it's in a documentary you could go find on my Cosmic Twilight channel. And I've got the original documentary here, but they had all the photographs of the Haunebu and Vril flying saucers. Okay. So this is what you would typically find on the internet about this. And again, here we have here. It just shows some excerpts of it. But to find the original photographs is hard. It's bloody hard. But yeah, it's immensely fascinating. But this is where it all came from. But we're not talking about that today. We're going to talk about that another time. Bring up a bit bigger. That's what she said. And let's go to this. Oh, hold on. No, I was right. Okay, so this is what you would normally find anti-gravity flying saucers. But before anti-gravity flying saucers, you need to go back to 1941, the early 40s, where these were allegedly built. Now, these are called... Oh my God, what am I doing? So these are basically flying discs. Okay, so I would classify these as flying saucers, but this is a flying disc. Okay, so these are disc-shaped crafts that were built by 4 scientists. Okay, but the whole principle of this is that these were conventional flying machines. When I mean conventional, I'm talking about these were fan-powered, jet-propelled. So, for instance, here, as you can see my cursor on the screen, you've got a central cockpit, and surrounding the cockpit, you have like this fan, or these blades. And what will happen that you have rockets. It's not on this artwork here, but you can have these rockets on the side, normally about 4 of them, and this would actually spin just the exterior of the craft. All the blades going around at such a high speed, the thing would actually levitate. And this is what they were building, allegedly building, during the Second World War. Now, here's just some artist impressions of this. We'll get to this one in a minute. So there is no evidence to back this up. However, looking at Germany and what they managed to achieve, it sounds more plausible if they did build something like this. Mods Mayhem, how's it going, man? Welcome on in. Good to see you. So, yeah, this is a tricky one, man. It's because it's all like trust me, bros. I hate to be a trust me, bro. I love to give you evidence, but through my over 10 years of research into German flying saucers, it's hard to find anything unless you want to go by whether or not that's actually real or not. And that one as well, these grainy photographs, it again is a tricky one, man. But yeah, from 1941 to 1945, these were built. Okay, it's just a quick brief of engineers that were allegedly involved into this. So this is Giuseppe Belluzzo, who was an engineer, an Italian engineer who worked for the Mussolini regime. Came out on the 25th of March 1950. 25th of March 1950. And this is the original article from an Italian newspaper called, oh my God, it was Gia d'Italia. Like I said, 25th of March 1950. And here he's saying, basically, he designed a flying saucer for the Germans, but then the Germans took the design and perfected it. Okay, so the whole aspect of this is all to do with rotation. I have absolutely no idea. And I can't remember what I said on Hidden Show, but there's a whole, basically is rotation here. You can see where my cursor is. These are the propulsion systems to actually make this circular sort of proposal to make it actually levitate. So he came out on 25th of March 1950. Here's another excerpt of it. Another engineer who came out 5 days after Giuseppe Belluzzo came out, and it's this guy here named Rudolf Schriever, who came out on the 30th of March 1950 in a German magazine called Der Spiegel. And this is his drawing of these flying discs. Okay, so again, if I just zoom in, you can see the guy standing up. I just think he'll be sitting down, okay, because it's not anti-gravity where you're not distorting the gravity field inside the craft itself, so the people are not affected. So I just think they just draw this just to sort of show example what the cockpit probably looked like, but it's most likely the pilot would be sat down. So again, the central plexiglass cockpit, you have the fan going around the exterior, and right here you can see the jets, which was mounted underneath it. Some of the other models were mounted on the side. I think that was the early models. And right here you can see that is what propelled the craft forward. Okay, so it sounds more plausible that the Germans would build something like this. They called it the Schriever flying top. Okay. So this is just like an artist's impression of it. Okay, so this is what it could have looked like, really. Again, it's all down to speculation. Another engineer who was part of this was named Richard Meier, who allegedly went back into, I think he went to Operation Paperclip into the Avrocar program in the 1950s. That was like that donut-shaped craft that the Americans had built. Here's just some other impressions of these crafts. So it just gives you a rough idea of what these craft actually look like. That's something completely different. Going to move on to that a bit later. That's called the V7. So again, 4 scientists. Top left, we have Rudolf Schriever. To the right, Richard Meier. To the bottom, Giuseppe Belluzzo. And the question mark is the Riddler. No, I'm joking. It's actually the real name's Otto Hobbenwall. Okay, so these were, welcome to the show. How's it going, man? How's it going? So these were the scientists that were involved at the time, and it's all to do with speculations. But Rudolf Schriever and Giuseppe Belluzzo, they definitely did come out in newspapers and magazines saying we're involved with making these flying discs for the Germans, which look like this. Okay, but today we are going to talk about this chap here, named Joseph Andreas Epp. Let's bring this up. I've got so much notes. I'm going to do a full episode on Joseph Andreas Epp because as I was going through it, I was like, I'm just going to bore you to death with his like life experiences and what he's been through and everything. Just a bit of a spoiler warning at the moment. I find his stories a bit dubious. I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of inconsistencies, I should say, that don't really add up to the timeline of where he was supposed to be part of the German flying, the development of the flying disc, and whether or not he was actually stationed as a Luftwaffe pilot. So it's a really, really tricky one. So let's just get into this. Joseph Andreas Epp, which seems to be a very common occurrence of people insert themselves into ufology. You know what I mean? So again, take this information for what it's worth. So let's start off. First things first, his book, because of course, always do with books. This here is one of his books called Die Realität der Flugscheiben, which means the reality of flying discs. Okay, it's all in German. I had to translate it myself, and this is his story, but after he died. Okay, so this came out in 2002, and he died in 1997. So a lot of information I've got is from this book here, and also the internet as well. So this guy is Joseph Andreas Epp. Right. Notes, please. Okay, full scientist on that. Okay. So yeah, this guy. As I was reading through his story, I'm going, oh my god, it sounds a bit dubious. Oh, who's this? QQQ vid. How's it going, man? How's it going? Welcome on in. So, yeah, Joseph Andreas Epp was a German inventor, engineer, best known for his work on unconventional flying designs, particularly his concept of the flying disc and these flying machines that he basically designed himself. We're going to get to that in a minute. Often referred to these as flying discs. And he was born on May the 11th, 1914 in Hamburg, Germany. Epp gained attention for his interactive ideas about aviation, most noticeably the Amiga disc and the rotating powered aircraft design developed during and after the Second World War. So here's another a very young man of Joseph Andreas Epp. He started his career as an inventor before the Second World War, and he was very fascinated with with aviation. I got to laugh about this. I'm trying to get the word out on this. So yeah, he was fascinated as a kid of basically flying machines and the power of flight. And at the time, Germany was way ahead in terms of like aviation. And he's got a lot of inspiration from this, which is called the Focke Wulf. Hang on, I gotta get this right. Hang on. Focke Wulf. Me did a good giggle about this, and it's practically the first helicopter. I just want to say this right because the Focke, the the Focke-Wulf FW61, and this is what it is. It's like one of the first helicopters designed by the Germans, and I just find it hilarious, the Focke-Wulf. So yeah, what Joseph Andreas Epp took the principle as he's going on later on in his years, in his teenage years, he started to build models, like very, very small, sort of very designed models of these airplanes. And eventually he managed to build them to actually fly. And he'd taken this concept. You see the rotating fans, the rotated blades on this, okay? He'd taken that concept and he applied it to this. And this is in this book here. And he designed this in 1939, 2 years before the engineers allegedly built the flying discs that I showed you. So this is the concept that he had. He had a central cockpit. He had a propeller at the top, and on the sides here, it was a rotating fan that basically would propel the craft upwards. And then eventually you have here, which is the propulsion systems. So it's pretty much the same designs as I showed you before about the sort of fan-propelled aircraft that you see. And yeah, at the same time, okay, so remember, this is 1939. We're going through the timeline here. 1939, he designed this, okay? And at that, it was 1940, he became a teacher of aviation. He was talking about how planes work and stuff like that. And eventually he designed this, which was called the Amiga disc. Okay, so I've got to talk about like the V7 in a bit. So this was a circular disc-shaped craft, and it had, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it had 8 fans around the circumference of the craft. You had another fan on top of this, and this was the first. Well, I won't say the first, but this is his design of a flying disc. So he had a multitude of concepts. Yeah, where are Ollie tonight? Yeah, Ollie's not here, mate. He's I thought she's dead. No, I'm only joking. That's a horrible thing to say. What are you saying? Go check out the Daily Conspiracy podcast, guys. Honestly, go check him out. So yeah, this is his concept of the flying disc itself. He's made a full-scale model after the war. Okay, this is not during the war. This is after the war, later on in the 50s, where he started to build a lot of concepts of these flying craft. But yeah, this is called the Amiga disc. All right. So I think I've got the photos in order. What a knobhead. Right. Okay. Yeah, so I mentioned that he was a technical teacher in aircraft school. This is around about 1940 to 1941. And at that time in his life, he was kind of getting a bit like pissed off that the fact that he he wasn't really getting anywhere with his designs. He was finding it teaching a bit boring. I think he was stationed out of the war at that time because he was a Luftwaffe pilot as well. I should have mentioned that. And eventually he thought, do you know what? Why don't I just send my plans for this flying disc? And he brought it into the Air Ministry, the Air Reich Ministry Aviation Council that was in Berlin at the time. And this is in 1940 or 1941. He brought his plans in for this flying disc. But this is where the Air Reichsministry, that's where they designed a lot of these flying discs, apparently. Okay, so it was all to do with aircraft. So what Joseph was saying is that later on in life, that the Air Reich Ministry basically taken his plans and stolen it. That created these flying discs, which is basically that. Okay, so you can kind of see, if I just go back, this is his original design. Kind of looks like one of these, you know what I mean? So he was saying, it says, oh no, they've taken my design, they haven't credited me at all, and this is basically he's saying is fraudulent, basically, as one would say. So let's play a clip of Joseph Andreas Epp, because we've got to get to this photograph because it's so annoying, and you've got to help me out as well, guys, because I have no idea where this photograph may or may not have come from. So let's bring up a clip from Mr. Epp himself. Is that one there? That one? No. Six the Third Reich. Fantastic. All right. Okay. Right, it's tight. Let's play a clip from Joseph Andreas Epp. Okay, so the timeline here. He was teaching in a school in 1940. He had his plans. He was like, right, let's see if we can get this flying disc actually in production. I can actually make some money out of this to help the war effort. So he brings the plans into the Aviation Council in Berlin, 1940. I believe it was 1940. And then in 1941, they started developing these flying discs with those 4 scientists that I mentioned. And at the same time, they were like persistent rumors that there was some sort of flying discs being tested in Prague or near the test facility in Prague. So this is a clip from Secrets, UFOs Secrets of the Third Reich. You can find it on my YouTube channel. And this is a clip from Joseph Andreas Epp.
A sort of compromise was achieved with experimental flying saucers like the RFC-7.
Wir haben Transporte gemacht, auch vom Kampfgeschwader 26. Und zwar haben wir
The 26th Fighter Squadron had been ordered to fly from Kiel to Norway in order to resupply the 30 Fighter Squadron, the Bambach Command. On the return flight to Hamburg, I took a model of my aircraft design.
Did it go off? Guys, did I just go off for a second? Am I still live? What is going on with StreamYard today? Honestly, what is going on with StreamYard? How's it going, AI 2012? Yeah, I went find what the hell is going on? Right, am I all good? Yeah, you can see me. I don't know what the hell happened there. Go. All right, okay. Let's just go back. Christ's sake. Right, okay. Guys, I have no idea. Probably the government's after me. We all say that as conspiracy theorists. Went off, but still live. Okay, that's good, man. Yeah, much appreciated. Yeah, I think John mentioned that. Basically, I'm taking over Alien Alex now to the best that I can. But you can find Ollie and Dave. They will be back now and then. They've just been so busy with their Spotify podcasts, the Daily Conspiracy podcasts. So, but no, I hope a bit more, I won't say more entertaining, but I at least try and keep you entertained with my field of ufology and my knowledge that I'm trying to bring forward. But I appreciate you being here, brother. Do appreciate it. So let's start again, guys. Again, apologies. I don't know what the hell's happened with StreamYard. It's been totally gay today. Right, let's do this.
A sort of compromise was achieved with experimental flying saucers like the RFC-7.
Wir haben Transporte gemacht, auch vom Kampfgeschwader 26. Und zwar haben wir
The 26th Fighter Squadron had been ordered to fly from Kiel to Norway in order to resupply the 30 Fighter Squadron, the Bamba Command. On the return flight to Hamburg, I took a model of my aircraft design with me.
Oh,
And taking
thank you,
advantage
John.
of the opportunity, actually had it forwarded to Ernst Udet in the Reichsairministry in Berlin.
Zum Abschicken nach, zum Reichsluftfahrtministerium nach Berlin an Udet. Udet hat dieses Modell weitergegeben.
Udet passed this model on to the research establishment in Peenemünde, where tests were later carried out. Over and over again, I later heard reports from people who were working in Prague on the construction of flying discs, and progress in this field was actually being made. I also knew that Habermohl and Schriever were in possession of my model and had begun work on its practical applications.
Habermohl und Schriever mein Modell praktisch bekommen hätten zum Ausarbeiten, zum Rekonstruieren. Und diese Flugscheibe hat der Schriever auf seine Art, seine Gedanken umgebaut. Während ich
Schriever made certain alterations to my plans, whereas, as I was later to ascertain, Habermohl had remained true to my original design. The second prototype was a flying disc, 42 meters long, and was built by Meier Beluzzo in Breslau.
42 Meter große Flugscheibe wurde gebaut durch Meier und Beluzzo. Und zwar in Breslau. Und diese Flugscheibe sollte dann, wie ich dann erfahren habe, sollte dann nach Spitzbergen geflogen werden.
This flying disc, as I discovered, was flown to Spitzbergen in Norway and should have returned to Rechlin on a directional beam with an unknown transmission frequency and code word.
Für den Sender, nicht, was überhaupt gar nicht benutzt wurde von anderen, sollte auf diesen Richtstrahl die Flugscheibe
However,
nach Rechlin.
due to a bad landing in Spitzbergen, it was damaged and was unable to complete the return flight home.
Die ist heftig abgestoßen und konnte dann nicht mehr zurückfliegen. Dann bin ich rausgefahren.
After that, I drove into the hills just outside Prague, where the secret testing ground was supposed to have been located. I had my Leica A camera with me when suddenly I saw such a flying saucer. I was wounded at the time, so I know that it was November, December, although the test flight was not due to take place until the following February. Someone had made an unscheduled test flight, and this is what I saw coming towards me. It had no wings, absolutely none. I took a photo and wound on the film, but it was already directly over me. Then I took a second photo, and I could see that it was a flying gyroscope, a flying saucer.
So there we go. Look at that. So the story behind this, the fact that Joseph Andreas Epp knew that they were developing these flying discs near Prague, and he was real kind of beating up about it. He's kind of like real pissed off. So look, you've taken my designs, you're not giving me any credit. I want some explanation. So on one day, I believe it was, it was February of 1944 or 45. There's some collusions on the date. And he woke up one morning, he's like, right, that's it. I'm done with this. I'm going to go to the testing ground. I'm going to try and find these flying saucers, these flying discs. And as he's driving in that excerpt, you can see in that clip, he drives to near the testing ground near Prague. And he stopped his car to check the maps for coordinates. And then suddenly he realized there is this flying saucer flying up ahead. Okay. And according to the excerpt here, if the description, this was taken in February of 1945. There are there's an excerpt in this documentary I'm going to show that there were rumors that the V7 took off in February of 1945 as the last test run, which was more like this, like a bit like the Amiga disc, so to speak. But nevertheless, he's actually taken a photograph of it. Now here is the original. He's taken two photographs. Here's the first one. And here's the second one. Okay, so we have the original right here. Okay, what you're having here, you can see this, the blurrization of the blurrization. I can't bloody speak. Don't 420 again, mate. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, this right here, this is watermark damage. Okay, so the photograph was put in a very an environment where photographs don't really last, so it probably had a bit of moisture on it, and it's basically damaged the photograph. Okay, but here is the original one, and we're talking about this one here. And I thought, wow, oh my god, is this an actual real German flying saucer? It could be, innit? When you look at it. Okay. And he's actually taken an original photograph. Here it is. This is the original photograph. However, this is where I go, so it's not right here. So yeah, original photograph right here, and here's a blown up version of it. I want you just to pay attention to this photograph, okay? Especially to the trees. You see, you got little trees there, branches, okay? And there is a city, not a city. I don't know if you're able to see it in that one. No, you can't really see it, but there is like a church, and there's some like housing, and you can see a bit of trees in the background there. So you've a bit like a Billy Meier shot, really. And he got the flying disc up here, and I'm going, oh right, awesome. This could be an actual like real, even like an anti-gravity flying saucer, like the Haunebu of Vril, right? But then I got one of these books. Well, I got two of these books. They're really bloody expensive and rare. And it is this one here. Bring it up. This is UFOs Photographs, Volume 1 by Rendell Stevens. Now, if you know about anything about Rendell Stevens, he dealt a lot with the Billy Meier case back in the 70s. So, I found it. Here we go. The Billy Meier photographs right here. Okay. So, as you can see, it's all in this book here. He almost plays like a certain victim, old Rendell. I don't think he's around anymore. I'm pretty sure he's passed on. But this has loads of photographs of like the old style 1960s, 70s, you know, the typical brim of the hat flying saucers. We've got an example here. But where is it to? It was a really, really good one here. Stuff like that, you know, flying saucer, you know, typical flying saucers, the brim of the hat style. So as I'm flicking through this book, I'm going, I know this photograph. There's a photograph I came across, and it was this. Okay. Wait, hold on. Get a bit bigger. This is when my investigation skills starts coming in. Let's put this one here. Okay, so this is UFO Photographs, Volume 1. And this photograph came up, okay? And if you read the description here, which I will have to, this was taken on the 29th of August, 1962. You've got a precise time. Pagno, blah, 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 Torrio, Italy. I think that's Sergeant... snapped this photo of a UFO as his mother, wife, and daughter watched this strange flying machine with him. It looks reflective and solid metallic. It skipped and zigzagged along in silence. And all right. Yeah, sure. Right, okay. Picture this, okay? And let's put the two photographs side by side. Oh, hold on. Let's get my bloody head out of that way. Oh, which one should we do? No. Okay. We'll stick that one for the time being. Okay. To the left, we have Joseph Andreas Epp original photograph. And to the right is the UFO photograph. UFO Photographs Volume 1. That came out in 1986. Okay. But this photograph was allegedly taken in 1962. Now, you tell me whether or not that's the same photograph, okay? Remember the branches. Look at the branches here, okay? I think that the one that's in this book, UFO Photograph Volume 1, has been contrasted a bit more. Look at the trees. Look at my cursors, all right? Let's bring up a bit bit bigger. If you can still hear me. Right here, the branches looks exactly the same as this. And even the top bit here, okay? And even that thing sticking out. See with my cursor, if you just see that thing sticking out, again, the same here, okay? So I think this is more contrast. And if we go to the flying, well, here's a better one. As you can see, it's just to show you the branches are more or less actually exactly the same. The flying saucer, the disc itself, looks more or less the same. So in my conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, this is the same photograph. It's got to be. And this makes me go, okay, right, what is going on here? So if this photograph was taken on February the 14th, 1945, here is the original photograph that was taken. This is the original one, okay? But it's in this book. I came out in 1986, but the photograph here was taken in 1962. But we have Joseph Andreas Epp original photograph. So how the hell did Rendell Stephen get this photograph? Do you see what I mean? Like I'm battling at the moment, going, if we're all presuming on the same page here, guys, in chat, that this is the same photograph, how the hell did Rendell Stevens get this photo? It's such a tricky one. Either the book came out in 1986. So either the book came out in 1986 and then Joseph Andreas Epp took a photograph from the book, but it's in black and white. So we can discredit that because the original photograph is more or less in color. So I'm really scratching my head and going, what's going on? Is that for me looks like the same photograph? Would you guys reckon that is more or less the same? It's a tricky one, but I think the right photograph has been more contrast, so it's got more, especially like the black branches here, they kind of stand out a bit more. So it is a tricky one, man. I don't know. Discs look the same. That's always puzzled me. There's always puzzled me this, whether or not this is the same photograph. And I've come to the conclusion that it is the same photograph. But how did Rendell Stevens get it? Did Rendell Stevens know Joseph Andreas Epp? Who knows? It's all speculation, really. One thing I did find out through doing research, the Amiga disc was actually created in 1950s, not 1940s, okay? And Joseph Andreas Epp would say, no, this actually was developed and designed in the early 40s, which this craft here is called the V7. This is the last discus craft, which all four scientists got together and built this. I could play a little clip, actually. We got a little clip somewhere? I think we got one. From UFO Secrets of the Third Reich. Okay, right. There's a little clip here talking about these flying discs, okay? So the V7 was the discus shaped craft I just showed you, had jets instead of the circular fan propelled around the circumference of the craft. Let's click play.
6 WW2 were also reported. In July 1941, work began on this Schriever Habermoll flying gyroscope, a jet-propelled vertical takeoff light aircraft. By the end of 1942, the first practical tests could begin. However, there were serious design faults in the first prototype. The same year, Dr. Richard Mieter began work on a turbine-driven light aircraft, the RFC-7T. This was to be discus and not saucer-shaped. The Italian scientist Giuseppe Belluzzo soon joined this project, followed shortly afterwards by Schriever and Habermohl. They worked together to produce a functional, reliable light aircraft.
So the four scientists that got together near the end of the war built this V7 craft, which used 12 turbojet engines around the craft to actually propel it. And beforehand, there were a number of prototypes allegedly built, like they just said here. I mean, whether or not you take it as truth or not, but the craft actually failed and it didn't fly that well. Apparently it vibrated quite a lot as the fan was spinning around the craft. It produced a lot of vibration, so they skipped that principle and used jets instead, because jets were the jet propelled craft was the thing at the time, really, when you look at especially like the V1 and V2 rocket, which is pretty much the same principle.
And so, on the 17th of April, 1945, Richard Mieter was able to report to Adolf Hitler, "Today, under my direction, and in the presence of 3 Luftwaffe officers, the V7 was tested in the skies above the Baltic. The general characteristics and attainable performance of the aircraft were as follows. The V7 was a supersonic helicopter fitted with 12 BMW 028 turbo aggregate engines. During the first test flight, it reached an altitude of 78,000 feet, and on the second, rose to 80,000 feet.
Over the years, I've had the privilege.
So, yeah, that is it. That is an excerpt from that documentary called UFO Secrets of the Third Reich. Nick, the photos do look legit and the image difference can be explained because of the render. But did you notice the actual craft in the distance is on the slight different angle? Yeah, I would have to admit. I tell you, let's bring up the photograph again. Mate, it's just been boggling my mind. It's like it looks so identical. Even though this is obviously if you're saying this is the original photograph, you can see also obviously is quite pixelated. The one on the right, which is from the book itself, obviously it has more contrast. But I'll tell you what, I've got one. Where is it to? There we go. I guess so. You can see the bump at the top here. Obviously, with the contrast, is going to make that a bit more thicker. What is the boggle? Is it the same image? No, it's. I believe these are. Oh, which one, mate? Sorry, mate, I wasn't following you on that one. Which is the one with the trees in it? It's the thing that gives it away, man. It's the tree line here. It just looks too precise, in my opinion. Oh, what am I going to? Yeah, there we go. You see what I mean? Is if you just look at especially these two here, you got a little bit at the top here. Other than that, they could have cropped it out. The saucer itself. I don't know. Could you be able to do that back in those days? I don't know. But the thing is, he's got the original photograph. This is it. This is what bloody. It's too mad, mate. It's too mad. I don't know. I don't know what. Honestly, when it comes to Joseph Andreas Epp, I've got to find his stories a bit dubious because he was injured during the war as he was flying he was a Luftwaffe pilot and he was injured. But at the same time, he was part of the German flying saucer program and all that. But then he said he wasn't. It's so all over the place. It doesn't really make sense. This is why I'm finding everything that he comes across or anything that he says is a bit dubious. With regards of this, you could say this is original. Well, he took 2 of them, actually. That was the first one. As you can see, you got trees, and even got the branches there. That's a bit more prominent. Okay, if we say we've got that bit at the bottom there. Yeah, you can see at the bottom. Let's see if we can find that on. Yeah, it's there. You can see it. Look, okay, just have a look at the bottom part here. Okay. And it's the same here as well. Oh man, it's a mystery that is never going to be solved. You are both wrong. It's the same saucer in the image. Yeah, I've looked at this for so long. Science, evidence, and fringe. I think I come to the conclusion that this is exactly the same photograph. It's got to be. It's who got it, who managed to get the original first. It's 2 people I don't really trust. I mean, we're talking about someone that is Billy Meier here. You know, it's a notorious faker. We can explain the tree's difference, but not the object difference. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tricky one. I think it's the same, but anyway, it's a mystery that will never be solved. So yeah, that is it for Joseph Andreas Epp. It's an interesting story, but I will go into more further details later on when I do a full analysis into like German flying saucers, because I want to talk about Vril and how Naboo. In fact, have I got any good photographs I can show? No, I think we'll save it for another show. Yeah. So yeah, there we go, guys. I thought I just want to show you the Hire is a hoaxer. Oh my god. Oaks. Oh, do you know what? I've got it queued up. Already. Trying to find like latest date, like UFO footage and all that. And I thought. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is an actual real flying saucer, and definitely not a 2 plates stuck together on a piece of string. This, if you're new to ufology, this, my friend, is Billy Meier, the man himself, the one hand. He's got one arm, and he had these connections to the Palladians. That's clearly on a string. Oh dear. Yeah, so he had communications with the Palladians that would come down and I don't know, suck his dick or something like that. But he could never ever take a photograph of them. Oh no, he did, didn't he? He did take a photograph, I believe. It was and dinosaurs and Mars. Probably say that for another episode. But as you can see here, guys, clearly fake. But this is the good thing about Billy Meier, how inventive he was. Look, you can see the car at the bottom there. Right. What he would do, he would blend miniature models of houses and even trees, and he would put that to a very close perspective to the camera itself. And eventually what he would do, he would pull it in a way where it will actually mix with the real background, as you can see here. And then he would basically have this flying saucer on a string, and that's what he did. He would use miniature models, and he would create these. I would have to admit, right? We're talking about 1975 here. It looked pretty bloody good for the time. Now we're moved on, and we've had time to process this image and go, it's clearly fake. It's clearly a bloody UFO on a string. Do you really think we could see it swinging in the wind? Look. Oh, here he is. As we've got the little flying saucer at the top. I'm sorry for like destroying your brain cells here, guys. Yeah, I know it's there. I can see it. I can see it. He gets freaked out in a minute. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, why would he put the camera facing the branches? You got this beautiful landscape, but you had to film it where branches are like right. The flying saucers are right there, just perfect in that shot there. You see what I mean? It's very easily orchestrated, and yeah, typical Billy Meier. I just find this funny. Oh my god, hilarious. Yeah, there we go. That's Billy Meier. I do apologize for destroying you guys' brain cells. Do apologize for that. Right. What else we've got here? There's Epp. Ready to find this. Okay. Let's go to. Oh, I was going to put TikTok on then. Terrible idea. What is that one there? Oh, there we go. What an idiot. There we go. Twitter, mate. Go back to Twitter. Yeah, there we go. Right. Bookmarks. So we moved on from Joseph Andreas Epp, and let's move on to some Twitter news. Look, Ray, you're here, mate. Yeah, I think you tagged me in this. Flying saucer sighting in New York City on 9/11. Let's go check this out. So we're going to go through Twitter at the moment and find some interesting videos I've been collecting throughout the week on ufology. Nothing special, but this was tagged to me on Twitter. A UFO sighting on 9/11.
So I saw the buildings from the Gowanus sort of plane come around, smack into the building. The second one came down the river, made a U-turn, hit the building, put his engines on. I says, at that point, I knew we were under attack. I jump off the highway because I knew they were going to close the tunnel. I was trying to get into the city to get the kids out.
Yeah.
So I knew they were going to close the tunnel. I tried to make it to the Brooklyn Bridge. That was closed. And I says, oh, man, I'll go up by Yankee Stadium, try to get across one of those little bridges up there. So I'm going between Brooklyn and Queens and going to fill
Third
up my
Avenue
tank,
Bridge, yeah.
you know, but I'm in between Brooklyn and Queens.
Shit.
And I'm thinking, trying to call the kids, phone's going down, pull into a gas station. Delivery comes in, guy's got all these soda boxes, soda things on the thing. He's bringing it in. An Arab guy's working there, and he's like in a bit of a panic. The credit card machines were going down. I'm saying, how we're going to get gas to get out of there. So I'm under the overhang of the gas thing. I see a couple across the street. They stop on a beautiful day, and they're looking up like this. They're looking up. There's a guy on a payphone on the other side of the street, and he's just like this with the phone, and he's looking up. Like, what are they looking at? I stick my head out. I look. Oh, it was a flying saucer, clear as could be, dome shape with a row of black windows in the middle, just hovering there. And it was spinning. Like, I think it was going this way, but I didn't hear anything, but I felt it like a whir, like that. And we're just looking at it, me and my girlfriend at the time. And because we were trying to get into the city, she had to go to work. I was going to my studio. We lived in Rockaway at that time. So I'm looking, and we're looking at this thing. Everybody's looking at it. And, you know, I had to go find my kids. So, you know, the people across the street, everybody had places to go. They, you know, thing was there, came right overhead. It was right overhead. Had a black dot in the middle. And they took off. The guy put the phone down. He took off. I got in my van and I took off, left it there. And I'm thinking later on that night when I went back, I said, did I see what I thought I saw that day? I was like, that was a fucking UFO. That was a flying saucer. It was like, we didn't even think about it because my adrenaline was going until I found my kids. Then once I was able to get through and I knew they hitchhiked uptown, I was like,
that was smart.
I was like, I felt like I was drunk. Like it was like, whew. I was like,
well, as a parent, that was so frightening.
Yeah, crazy story. I know there were lights being seen in the sky. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know Alien Addict had Billy Meier on before. Not Billy Meier, Michael Horn on before. Excuse me, Nick. Please don't call him inventive. Call him for what he is, a hoaxer piece of shit. Because people like him, people that believe this topic gets ridiculed. I would agree. The thing is, you know, I remember seeing Billy Meier back in the 90s when I was a kid, and I thought this is really good stuff. But as you get older, and I think I'm going to be honest with you, right? If you think that Billy Meier stuff is actually real, and you're new to ufology, and you think it's real footage you're seeing, I think you're a fucking idiot. Clearly, it's a model piece of plates on a piece of string. Anyone can see that. But like I mentioned, you know, we're past 1970s now. We're on something far more complex. Obviously, we're talking about AI stuff here. So I would agree he is a hoax piece of shit. But yeah, at the same time, calling out bullshit. Yeah, but as what I'm talking about, inventive, like he used to use the models, but blend it in with the background. I mean, I have to admit, it looked pretty impressive for the 70s, for the 1970s. For now, it's clearly fake. But yeah, I would agree with you on that one, mate. Yeah, 100%. Meier is 88. Is he still alive? Is he still alive? No way. Oh yeah, he's alive. Bloody hell, I thought he died. Oh, okay. Strange that he hasn't come forward with any more Palladian stories and photographs, because obviously he gets caught out. It would be bloody. But like, yeah, Billy, we're past that now, mate. You know, try harder. I think he runs a cult. Oh, I wouldn't be really surprised. Yeah, even back in the 70s, mate, I watched a lot of documentaries on Billy Meier, and he did have a sort of a cult side to him. Because people were just fascinated. Because you think 1970s, people were fascinated with UFOs, and when you had that shitty footage and people thought it was real, they sort of clocked onto the fact that, oh, maybe it is going to contact Palladians and stuff like that. Like, no. Nick, do you hear the gas meter tapes on Billy? I saw a few did not stick much. Gas meter tapes, so not as a typo, mate. I'm not too sure on that one. I'll double check that. Gas meter tapes on Billy. Not too sure, John. I'll make a mental note of that. But yeah, there is some tape. I can't remember, to be honest with you, mate. Not too sure on that one. Right, what have we got here? We're just go back on Twitter. Oh no, I was on Twitter. What are we doing? So yeah, when it comes to like UFO footage, guys, there's nothing really much to show. I've got some like paranormal stuff. A lot of stuff is like old style. Right, so this cube-like thing, I think might have seen that before years ago. I mean, we're talking about 2010. And this was taken, on September the 9th, 2011. A pyramid-shaped UFO was reported seen hovering over a power plant in China. Witness describes a massive silent object with geomatic structures. I've screwed that word up. Emitting unusual glow. Interesting. Yeah, it's a bit like the drone, not the drones. It was like very strange craft. Obviously, it was CGI. This is going back like 2010. If I find it, I'll show you guys. But it was very, very popular footage. It looked like these huge, gigantic drones in the sky. But we're talking about like 2010 here. What we got here? Right, this one. This is an old footage. I've noticed with Twitter that I got a lot of old footage that gets reproduced. Excuse me, guys. Do you guys know what aircraft that is? Looks like there's some sort of stealth fighter. Not too sure if it's American, China, or Russia. Yeah, this is clearly fake, isn't it? When you look at it, this is the sort of photographs you'll find in this book here. It's clearly a dinner plate with some special effects on here, at the bottom of it. Yeah, the thing is with these grainy photographs, it doesn't help the authenticity of the photo, isn't it? It's, you can say, oh, this was taken on this specific day and this specific time. At the same time, it's too grainy. And back in the day, you have to admit, guys, they did a lot of faking and a lot of faking with UFOs. And there's a very clear example of that. Yeah, this is creepy. Yeah, a picture from a hospital CCTV camera shows something standing on top of a dying patient. Is this supernatural present or just a glitch in the monitor? I don't know. Looks like a flipping goblin to me. Chat, what do you reckon? Let's put this a bit bigger. Let's do it like that. I don't know. It looks like some sort of goblin creature, doesn't it? Nathan from the Quantum Show. How's it going, man? Thanks for being here, bruv. I want to get you on the show at some point. I want to get some people. I want to get like Amy and you guys on the show, because I saw you when you were talking about the JFK assassination with Amy. And do you know what? That day, Nathan, right? I had private work and I Amy was going live and you were on the show. And as soon as I clicked on Amy's live show, it literally showed the JFK assassination. She showed the whole thing. I was like, oh, Amy. Amy, let's see how. So literally, bang! His head exploded. As soon as I clicked onto it, I was like, oh god, we're onto a bloody banger here. No pun intended. But yeah, it would be good to get you on the show, man. You guys seems like a good fun and very knowledgeable as well. And guys, go check out Nathan from the Quantum Show. Fantastic show. He deserves more praise. I'm sure he can read and talk better than I am. But go check out Nathan from the Quantum Show, guys, because we need to support each other. And Nathan, you would say, mate, we're both bloody censored. I would say more than shadow banned. There's one thing I noticed with UFO channels, right? And I'm not going to be picky. I know, Nathan, you've been going for a number of years now, but I have noticed, right, like new UFO channels, not naming who they are, but they've been doing it for like a year or two. They don't really know ufology, but everyone steals other people's content, isn't it? To talk about it's just the way things are. You know, that's how content's created. That's how we make content. But I noticed these channels that have been going for a couple of years or even a year, not naming who it is, they get thousands of views. And I'm going, like me and you, Nathan, we know we put effort into our shows. We have the knowledge there. We're not blowing my own trumpet or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like, how come we're put in the dark, but these other channels are getting thousands of views? I don't want to be like nitpicky, but it just kind of like really pisses me off because the viewers just stays the same. Like, yeah, okay, we may talk about like conspiracies and stuff like that, which don't help, like especially like key words, like you say, but it just kind of like really annoys me. But Nathan, you deserve more. You definitely deserve more viewers, mate. You really do, honestly, because I do listen. I just don't comment sometimes. Obviously, when I'm working, it's a bit tricky. But yeah, guys, one more last time, go check out Nathan from the Quantum Show. I'll catch you on the end, mate. And yeah, trying to help our fellow YouTube channels out. You know what I mean? I do research, have experience. Not that I'm trying to go big, but Dame, yeah. Exactly. I mean, we've got a lot to bring to the table, Nathan, and it just feels like we're getting credit. I know. It's just like, it's not like we deserve the attention, but we do deserve the attention. We do. But at the same time, I just find it's a bit like rules for thee and not for me. You know what I mean? It's just but just got to keep going and keep pushing on, and eventually you might hit the mark sometime soon. I hope so. But anyway, back to this photograph. Looks like a goblin. Not too sure what it could be. Flipping scary, nevertheless. If I actually saw that on the TV monitor, probably wake the dead, more or less. All right, this is another old video footage from 2009. Okay, I remember this clearly back in the day. Oh, YouTube used to be amazing back in the day. I used to wake up in the morning. It'd be Sunday morning. I'll smoke a bunch of weed, and I'll just spend my whole day on YouTube watching David Like conspiracies on YouTube. YouTube out of all places. It used to be amazing. But I remember seeing this footage, and it shows, I think it's like a Bowen craft, and you have this. Okay, it might be fake, probably. You can see. Hold on, let's get it back here. There we go. Right, you can see this object coming towards the plane itself. And watch this. Zoop. And it's gone. Bear in mind, this is 2009-10 graphics, sir. It's when it goes up. This is it. It looks a bit too fake here for me. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Fascinating, nevertheless. But why was he filming that? Probably because he saw this object flying towards it. Possibility. Right, that's enough of that. It's just a strange thing in the sky. I love my sky phenomena.
Oh, look at the smoke. What the fuck?
Language.
Dude, that's some fucking alien shit. No, I've been seeing that all over. Oh, look at the smoke. What the fuck? Dude, that's some fucking alien shit. No.
Have you seen it's like this black sort of, I know, it kind of looks like Venom. Have any guys seen the film Venom, where I can't remember what the name of it, that black goo stuff? It's a bit like that, but in the sky. I have seen other videos of that, which kind of looks like this. Oh yeah, that. Do you know what? I would love to talk about this. This is one conspiracy I've been looking into for the past 18 years. I'm gonna find it immensely fascinating. Oh yeah, I looked at this, talking about occultism. And this is called, this book I want to get, Occult Britain. And I don't live too far from Gloucestershire. 18th century, a procession in honor of a half-goat god ran from the church to the woods near Painswick House. Yeah, Glastonbury, mate, it's got a really weird vibe. I only live like less than an hour away from Glastonbury. I've been there a few times. I find there's a lot of like pretentious pricks out there. A lot of people that just, I think, want to be part of a community, but they paint their hair flipping purple. They got a bloody shop with all their incense and I'm all spiritually awakened, I'm aware and all that. I'm like, yeah. Matt, you get a lot of people like that. You can spot the ones that are actually genuine, but there's such a really weird vibe with Glastonbury. I quite like Avebury, which has got the massive stone circles. I find that more calming. But John Stokes, so is that near you? Painswick. Oh. Well, we would definitely meet up at some point, mate, if you're near that neck of the woods. But yeah, Glastonbury, mate. Really, really. Is it Glastonbury or Gloucestershire? No, it's Gloucestershire. Oh, I'm bloody idiot. Yeah, even Gloucestershire, Glastonbury is more or less on the same path. It's just got a really weird vibe to it, but some lovely architectural churches and stuff like that. I'm going to be doing a video soon with the missus. Pop into Glastonbury, mate. What else we got here? UFO Mania does post a lot of fake stuff. Oh, this is it. This was an interesting one. I watched this live. Okay.
We created a moment in history.
Right. Do you think this is real? Is it fake? Or is it fake and gay? Actually, what's his name? John Leonard. Hold on, I'm going to take this down a bit. John Leonard Wilson actually filmed this on the moon, actually landing on the moon. So it is real, but some people get a bit skeptical, which is fine. You've got your own opinions. It's all good. Nothing weird with hugging trees. Yeah, I tell you, there's some bloody big trees in Gloucestershire, Glastonbury. Fake and gay, yeah. Absolutely, mate. Fake and gay, especially the Apollo 11. Was it 14? Can't remember. But this is full-blown HD version of the moon and all is its glory. Fake and gay. Just saying. But not long ago, me and Hidden Underbelly, we did a show on like building structures on the moon, like towers, mushroom-shaped buildings. There was like almost like bloody like satellite dishes on there as well. But this is the first time you're actually witnessing 4K quality of the moon landing. Making gay, nothing like John Leonard Moon's footage. Yeah, guys, go check it out. Unfortunately, I can't really play John Leonard Wilson's videos, but he's actually got an actual footage of this lunar just about landing on the moon on here, and he's taking it from Earth with his powerful telescope. Yeah, look, guys, I think this is real. Looking at John Leonard's bullshit. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. It too good to be true, maybe. You can tell it's got the fisheye lens on it. I think I see Bigfoot. Yeah, I'm not too sure on that one, guys. Not too sure on that one. Okay, serious question. Do you trust the footage of the Firefly landing? No, I don't know, guys. It's up to you. It's swamp gas. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't trust anything NASA comes out with. I don't trust anything that. If you look at SpaceX, what they managed to do and land that rocket, that is pretty damn impressive, isn't it? It's pretty damn impressive. But whether or not you think that's real, that footage we just saw, is entirely up to you. I'm not going to judge you for it. Oh, should we touch? Oh, sod it. Go on then. Bit of conspiracies. Sod it.
Statue called the Statue of Liberty. It's holding the torch. The torch. Statue called the Statue of Liberty. It's holding the torch of illumination, which is the Promethean torch of Freemasonry. And if you go to the Statue of Liberty, you'll see a bronze plaque inside saying that this was given to the government of America by the French Grand Orient Temple Masons. and it is a symbol of Grand Orient Freemasonry in America, the holder of the light. And that's exactly the same torch that is carried during the Olympics. It is the torch of Prometheus.
It's not the torch of freedom.
No, it's not the torch of freedom.
Of the Illuminati.
Illumination. To add also that on the back of the Liberty dime, on the back of the old dime in America, there was the fasci, which you look in the encyclopedia or dictionary, you look at the word fascism, you'll see that the symbol for world fascism was a bundle of sticks, a bundle of rods with a hatchet head. That was on the back of the
Well, you see that on each side of the speaker's podium at Congress.
Oh, absolutely.
So they have the fasci on each side.
Absolutely, and it's also the symbol for the United States Senate is the fasci. But the point I want to make is that was on the old dime. Now on the new dimes, you will see it has been transplanted a torch instead of the old fasci, because fascism was used at one time to prepare the world for the new world order. Now the new world order is in place. That's why on the dollar bill it says Novus Ordo Seclorum, is new order of the world.
Oh, God bless Jordan Maxwell. Passed away a couple of years ago. Absolutely devastated when he passed. Yeah, people are a bit skeptical about Jordan Maxwell. I know he's sort of gone into, especially like Christianity and stuff like that, and trying to find out where the old symbolisms come from. I mean, for instance, what he's talking about here about the torch. One could say the light bearer or Lucifer, so to speak. These symbolisms are absolutely everywhere. If you go into the statue, yes. That's it, the light bearer. Yeah, light bearer, which is otherwise known as Lucifer. But if you go throughout England, it's very well known that there is all these symbolisms everywhere. I mentioned it on the last live show that you have all these like acorns, like statues all over England, especially like old buildings like from the 17th and 18th century. As I started to know about the occult, obviously not about the German occult, but the other occult philosophies that go around in America for the past God knows how many years, you start to notice very reoccurring things, basically. Another aspect I can remember seeing is that the 2012 London Olympics, hang on, I've got to show you this. 2012 London Olympics Stadium. Okay. And I noticed that there were like these triangles. Bring this up. Because it's literally in your face, and especially now when it comes to like pop stars and stuff like that, they are literally doing like the devil signs. They're not hiding it anymore. They are literally not hiding it. And what you have here, guys, sorry I can't blow it up even bigger, but all surrounding, this is the stadium that was built for the London Olympics back in 2012. Okay, there's supposed to be a bloody alien invasion supposed to happen on that day. But if you have a little look, I mean, it's so clearly obvious. You've got these pyramids structures going all the way around, as even capped off at the bloody top as well. They are not hiding it at all. They are literally not hiding it. So these symbolisms are, there's a better photograph of it. These symbolisms are everywhere. How many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14. Oh, it's 14. I thought it'd be 13 or something like that. But yeah, as you can see, these symbolisms, people say, oh no, you're just thinking too much out of the box. You're too much of a conspiracy theorist. It's like, no, honestly, the people that design these buildings, they put it into, they put the occult practices into their structures. There's another one. Look, they're like flipping pyramids going around it, you know? And yeah, okay, nothing happened during 2012, but I think probably a consciousness change happened. But yeah, they're literally not hiding it. They are not hiding it at all. And that's one thing I noticed with that. I was like, oh yeah, there's flipping like pyramids, like structures going around the moon. Not moon, the Olympics. Oh, what else we got here? Okay. This is interesting. So you got this big orb that lands in someone's garden front garden. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. There we go. Watch this. I know Mick West is going, it's a flare. It's a flare, you idiot. Oh, no, it's just like not catching anything on fire. And what's a flare doing in a residential area anyway? Or, no, I was going to say a Chinese lantern, but Chinese lantern tends to drop altitude when the flame is out and not on. And this is glowing like a bitch. There's another one here as well. You see it descending down, but you don't see what happens afterwards. This is it. Let's have a little look, see what it does. Oh, that's disappointing. I like to see where this thing goes. Does it disintegrate? Does it actually shoot off into the sky? Hard to tell, but it's fascinating nevertheless. This was a drone footage. That was like the size of a car. And yes, the drones are still going on at the moment in New Jersey. Whether or not you believe the official explanation, it's something to do with surveillance or something like that. It's something to do with China. It's hard to tell, man. Could be a drone with very bright light, black and white security cam. Also not hearing any sound. Yeah, it was silent, mate. There was no audio with that one. I just showed. I mean, it's a bloody big drone because there were sightings of these drones like the size of cars, like absolutely huge. But I'm not believing the official explanation that these are FAA approved drones. I mean, what are they there for? That's the thing. I need an explanation of what were they doing. My personal opinion, probably looking for flipping portholes. I don't think we've heard the last of the Miami aliens in the mall. No, I did just kind of shit on the idea, but now kind of thinking like, potentially, are these like portals opening up? And these drones are trying to survey it? I mean, why would a flipping portal open up in the bloody Miami shopping mall? You know what I mean? It's good fun. That sounds like an awesome time, to be honest with you. But maybe these drones are there to survey something. That's crazy, isn't it? What else we got here? One more footage. There we go. One more footage. We go into some paranormal stuff.
Is it a cross? Heck no, it's not a cross. What is that? Like a. Whoa.
Let me see it.
Let me see it. Looks like a human.
Dude, it looks like a dude in a suit.
It is, isn't it?
It looks like Iron Man. What the heck? Jonathan,
Right.
what in the world?
What is that?
Maldakians. Might be the super people, Maldakians.
I don't know nothing about no Maldakians.
Might be them. You'll know when you guys see them.
It kind of looks like a human, doesn't it? You know, the head and the arms, bit of pareidolia there. It's glowing. It's got an aura behind it. It's definitely giving off something. It's a balloon. Is it weather balloon, you idiot? I know what weather balloons look like. I filmed a weather balloon and it looks nothing like that. That's interesting, man. I would love to see stuff like that. I'm a constant sky watcher. Well, every time I've got the opportunity to film the skies, or especially on a clear sky day like we've been having for the past week, I tend to look up and I don't really see anything. Like, it's a bit like ghost hunting, guys. You're not going to get your ghost hunting experience to be a big one when the first time you go. It might do, but through my experience, you just got to keep doing it, keep going, keep sky watching. Just like, honestly, just don't stop. Especially like paranormal stuff as well. You know, just keep going. Eventually, you will find something. You will be rewarded. Right, let's bring up last. Let's do some paranormal stuff. Let's bring some paranormal ghost photographs. And then we'll finish up. All right. Right. Both. There we go. So this is from Paranormal Sightings on Facebook. I do have Facebook up and running. I've been quite lazy, even though my mum has sent me like loads of videos I can show. Bit conspiracy stuff, but probably leave it for next time. But yes, if this is on Paranormal Sightings on Facebook, has been uploading, or the public can upload anything they think is actually paranormal. But it's good to get people's opinions. It's got nearly 500,000 people on this page. So the owner of this photo shared that she was sitting at her kitchen table having a snack when she received a motion alert from the monitor. She had set up in her dad's room watching over him due to his health. When she checked the footage, she was stunned. It was her mother, who had already passed, seemingly checking on her father, who passed away not long after. Perhaps it could come to guide him home. That's crazy, isn't it? Look at that. Remember, I was mentioning about pareidolia. You've got to take that in consideration. It's the same with EVPs as well. It's, oh, that kind of sounds like this, kind of sounds when it's like, you know, it's can't really hear anything. So you're trying to make out a sentence from something that sounds like static. Same goes for these photographs here. It does look like it's an outline of somebody. It really does. Obviously, with the head here, you can see the body. These monitors. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, it's nice to see you. And yeah, pop back anytime, bruv. It's good to see you. And yeah, thanks for chiming in. It's much appreciated. Have a good weekend. And yeah, hope to catch you next Friday, bruv. Nice to see you. So, paranormal ghosts, that is one thing I'm more on the true side than I believe in aliens. Look, my thoughts on aliens has changed a lot. I think they're more interdimensional spiritual beings. Spirituality has to be taken into consideration in ufology, and especially aliens. That's one thing I've become more true to myself, of thinking, right, no, there's something. Everything seems to be connected, even like Bigfoot and stuff like that. Even fairies. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go there. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit like oopie spookies, but nevertheless, it is definitely. I think it's all connected, and we need to go into that at some point. But nevertheless, I think there's definitely some sort of apparition there, 100%. This photograph. This is my great grandfather's grave with my uncle Pete, my grandmother's brother, and his wife. The cemetery in Queens, New York. I am pretty sure it's Carver something cemetery. Yeah, if you're new to this channel, I can't read that properly, which I'm just retarded, which is the largest cemetery in the US. So I've been unable to locate the actual headstone itself myself, but this is real untouched photo from my dad's photo album. Check this out. Look at this. There we go. Remember I was talking about like the black mass? I remember this was taken by film camera as well, which is like the best. Yeah, it's one of the best photographs for any paranormal, really, to be honest with you. I find today's mobile phones, today's up-to-date cameras, I think they kind of blur out orbs, anything spiritual, in my opinion. It's probably just me on that one. But if you want to do any ghost hunting, go get an old camera. I like to use film again, but you got the bloody process of that, get it developed and everything. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? That black mass there, it's got a bit of a white. Is that? Can I see something in there? So look. No, it's probably just me. Nevertheless, it could be a strap from the camera. You never know, but fascinating nevertheless. Right, this one here. This was on October the 30th, 2018, around 6:15 in the evening. I was inspecting the footpath on the estate when he noticed a woman standing in the river near Blah Blah Bridge. Concerned that she might be in distress, he called out to her, letting her know he was nearby. However, he soon realized that something was off. She didn't seem human. As he watched in shock, the figure appeared and faded and merged into the river. Acting quickly, he managed to capture a photo before she vanished completely. Check this out. Look at that. Now, remember, I was talking about, especially when we go to photographs, if the whole photograph is actually blurry. Excuse me, guys. God, coughing like Birdie at the moment. Yeah, if you notice that with blurry photographs, you tend to like anything that's in the middle will be blurry as well. However, this looks quite clear to a certain degree. This was 2018. But it's definitely an outline of a person there. Yeah, check that out. Seems to be a very common occurrence. You got the darkness, and then you got the white as well. So whether or not there's actually good and evil behind that is a tricky one. But that, nevertheless, really, really good photograph. This is a scary one. Discovered in the window an old photo of loved ones, revealing details unnoticed until now. Pareidolia. Talking out the window here. Look at that. See a face through that? Yeah, tricky one. As soon as you start going into further detail, it's a bit blurry, so it's kind of hard to make out. Here's another one, the white mass. Could tell there's a face there, definitely like a human appearance. Whether or not someone's probably smoking weed or something like that, and a bit of weed ganja smoke to sort of gone up into the well, that guy's having a cigarette there, so you can clearly see. So you got to take that in consideration, because that's one thing I've noticed, especially when condensation of your breath that comes out on a cold winter's night. And I've done so many ghost hunting at night. Obviously, we do it at night. And I noticed when the breath condensation mist just about hits the camera, or even through a distance away, it can actually still pick it up. So again, the condensation from the breath, even like a cigarette smoke, being like waves, it'd be very distinctive. This is quite, I wouldn't say distinctive, I would say is quite, I don't know, it could be whatever, to be honest with you. Just thought it'd be interesting. Yeah, it is one. That's definitely not smoke. Could well be, right, slow shutter speed. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that. So basically, if you want to lighten up a photograph, what you do is that you'd put the shutter speed to a low setting. So the camera, you've got to have your camera on a tripod. And then when you take the photograph, it will basically light everything up. So this could be taken at night or in the dark. And this can actually be lit up through the shutter speed. But if you're standing and you're moving in shot, it will get this sort of effect. It'll be a very blurry effect. But again, is why there's no description to this. So why did they take the picture here? Probably because they sent something that was in their presence, possibly. But definitely, oh my God, man. Excuse me. Bloody hell. But you can definitely tell there's something there. I love photographs like this. I really do. because people say, "Oh no, you're just debunking it." It's like, no, like through my experience through doing ghost hunting, you get to understand, what potentially can be easy to be explained or something that can't be explained. I mean, I've got I've got a few photographs that cannot be explained, but with this, it can but cannot be. But nevertheless, really, really good. Last but not least, the owner of this photograph, blah 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 blah. We visit the blah blah last weekend for the night tour. Whilst reviewing the photo we took, my father-in-law spotted this. Could it be one of the Wolf Rod children? Look at that. Proper face in that. I say that phone cameras don't pick up any ghosts or anything like that, but I think I'm talking shit on that one because all these photographs were more or less taken on phone cameras, isn't it? Yeah, that's crazy, man. Look at that. Yeah. If I saw that in real life, I'd be like, hell no. Hell no. Sod that. Right, I think that's it. I think that's it for the paranormal. And I think just go check my notes one more time. I don't think I missed anything out. Yeah, that is it. That is it, guys. Man, I have been all over the place today with live streams. I'm still I don't want to like talk about my weaknesses, but I still bloody struggle with reading and at least getting things across. It's kind of weird, guys, when you got the camera with you and I got you guys in chat. Yeah, there's 27 people watching, but it's still like there's like pressure, and I just tend just to fuck up like so much, and my mind wanders. I screw my words up as well, which is a very common occurrence for me. But it's a learning curve, guys, a learning curve. I just try to keep you guys entertained to the best I can. I know back on the Alien Addicts, the old shows, we stuck down. Oh no, we did branch, in and out of like different topics, but this is why I need like more people on the show to talk with. It's like when me and Hidden together, it's a great laugh. You can speak for hours. I need to get Nathan from the Quantum Show on the show as well. Sort of branch out a bit. So yeah, again, apologies for the mishap today. StreamYard's been really weird. I'm paying 40 odd quid for this, and I might move to OBS. I'm not too sure. I'm so used to StreamYard because I can just do stuff like that. You know what I mean? And even like that. I mean, that penis control. So yeah, all right, guys. I'm gonna leave it there. I'll be back next week for another live show. And if you did like what you see, please like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. And be better, like I said, back next week on Friday for another live show. I'm not too sure what I'm going to talk about, but me and Hidden will be back on Wednesday. I'm going to be talking about Stargate and the war in Iraq and the mysteries behind that, because the Americans, what a lot of people don't know is that they looted a lot of museums looking for something specific. And I'm going to talk about it now, something really crazy. And there were persistent rumors whether or not Saddam Hussein actually found an old ancient Stargate system. And that is the reason why they went into Iraq. It's just a theory, but we're going to go into it on Wednesday, this Wednesday, on Hidden Underbelly's channel, and I might talk about it on this show as well. So that is pretty much it. Let's just say good night to chat. S Hammer, thanks for being here. Corbell's cat, Sheep Pop Pop. I think he's gone now, but yeah, thanks for being there. Science Fringe, I do appreciate you. Nathan from Quantum Show, if you're still here, thanks for being here, bruv. John Stokes, much appreciated. And Mark G, if you're still here, thanks for being here. John Scott. And I think that is everyone. I think that is it. Let's go down one more time. Yes. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. I do appreciate everyone being here. So if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. It'll be much appreciated. It'll help the channel out as well. And especially hitting that like button as well. That'll be a good help as well. So again, yeah, back next week for another show. Keep you all up to date with the news, information on UFOs, the paranormal, etc., etc. So remember, until next time, always remember, they're watching you, watching us, watching them. See you soon. Check out the boys, the Daily Conspiracy Podcast on Spotify, Apple, and Podbeam, Monday to Friday, because reptilians don't take days off. Have a good weekend, guys. See you next Friday.